Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Akakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Yakmanakwa out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this I originally had planned to be my second lesson. Today's primary lesson, Lord willing, all goes well, is going to be kind of like basically a Mark of the Beast breakdown. And we've done it before on this channel here, but I was watching the lesson by the Apostle Gabar today that he does live stream every day, called Daily Live Stream, and it was the one for today, Daily Live Stream 6/25/26, right? And it was about the hour mark in. Of course, I'm doing this on the go, so if you want to pull it up, you can go there. It's just called DLS June 25th 2026. It should be there. Go about 58 minutes, an hour in. I know there were some parts where he's talking about the hour and 4 mark. I just went back, I'd say just around an hour to watch it around there. I'd say probably maybe start at the 50 mark, watch it to the hour and 15 mark, right? So about 25 minutes, and basically he talks about it. And what he's talking about in there, as I drop my sticky note that has all my notes on it, is he was basically mentioning IUIC and their the horrendous breakdowns, all right, that they've done on Revelation 13:16, right? And he mentions a specific scripture, dealing with plainness of speech, mentioning how you're not supposed to try to convolute it and do all this extra shit. And that's really what the IUIC does a lot. They're the convoluting kings, the kings of convolution. All right, if they're kings of anything, they're the kings of convolution. And matter of fact, let's go and define what convolution is. Convolution. Well, it'll fix it. It's hard to, not convention. Convolution. There we go. Convolution. That's not what we're looking at. That's convolution. Definition. Okay, a convolution is broadly defined as a twisting, coiling, intricate folding together of something. Depending on the context, the term shifts from a physical description to a highly specialized mathematical and computing concept, and we're not talking about mathematics. General usage. Convolution refers to a complex, twisting, or highly intricate situation. We can tell, and convoluted. All right. Oh, it's very convoluted. Convolution of words or speech. All right. It says a convolution of words or speech refers to a language that is overly intricate, twisted, or intentionally complicated. It describes, I won't go as far out to say that the IUIC is intentionally complicating things. They could be. I think what it stems from, and this is just my opinion, I think what it stems from really is a lack of knowledge, and I think they try to pad things out to hide their lack of knowledge, right? And because, let's be honest, Bishop Nathaniel, he doesn't really know where he is or where he wants to teach Revelation 13:16. Okay, he doesn't really want to mention the Mark of the Beast. Not the Mark of the Beast. He doesn't really want to mention the RFID microchip, but at the same time, he kind of does want to at least put it out there in case it does end up being the chip. It could be a chip, but it's not referring to a chip. Over the years, he's had several different stances that has changed his mind. At one point, it wasn't the chip. And I guess as of recently, which is several years ago now recently, that it potentially could be a chip, right? It could be a chip. And that's an ass covering scenario is what he's doing. He's saving ass, just in case it ends up being, because it is going to be, right? Well, I never said that it couldn't be. I just said that it more than likely. No, see, you're trying to, and that's convolution, all right? It's overly intricate, twisted, intentionally complicated, and you're doing that so you can leave yourself open an escape route. Okay, that's what you're doing. Bishop Nathaniel intentionally, I don't know if he intentionally complicates his words, but he does intentionally at least try to add some extra shit in to leave himself an escape route. Okay, a door open, if you will. That if someone says, hey man, you know that, if you listen to what I said, you moron, all right, it's a famous quote from Bishop Nathaniel, if you listen to what I said, you moron, right, if you listen to what I said, he'll say, if you listen to what I said, meanwhile, we listened to what you said, and what you said had nothing to fucking deal with what you're talking about. But again, we do realize and understand that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, it was revealed unto us that you always like you're really working off the white man's terms of probable deniability. All right, let's look up that word while we're looking up words. Probable deniability. Okay, plausible, not probable, but plausible deniability. My bad. Plausible deniability is a social and political tactic where an individual or leader can credibly deny knowledge or responsibility for unethical or illegal actions. This defense exists because a lack of direct provable evidence links them to the wrongdoing. And that's what he tries to operate off of. But there's enough evidence, all right? Because through the Holy Spirit, the Lord reveals it unto his people, right? His true prophets, not you, Bishop Nathaniel, not you, all right? And what you do is you try to operate off of plausible deniability, okay? It says, lack of direct provable evidence links them to the wrongdoing, or because situations can be interpreted in multiple ways. That's yours, all right? Can be interpreted in multiple ways. If you listen to what I said, you moron, what I said was, no, that's not what you meant. But you leave open enough of a gap, right? We do understand that. We understand that you leave open enough of a gap so you can weasel your way out of it, all right? That's that plausible deniability. That's a white man's tactic. So, and that's why, I'd say at this point, I would say it is an intentional convolution, right? You've left things intentionally complicated, not to make them complicated, but specifically, you've left things more open-ended, so in case something does happen, you can cover your ass, all right? Meanwhile, GMS doesn't do that, all right? GMS doesn't do that. They speak plain upon the tables. They let it out there. They speak with plainness, as they should, and if it comes out that they said something wrong, they make a lesson and they correct it, right? Years ago, before we were, using the term speckled bird, it was confusion of face, right? Well, it came out through the Apostle of Heart. I believe it was the Apostle of Heart, that's not the correct term. Okay, that's dealing with something else. The correct term is, speckled bird. Okay, not confusion of face. Okay. And they came out, made lessons. There's plenty of lessons. I remember it say, "Oh, it's not confusion of face, but speckled bird." All right, it's something that was incorrect got corrected. All right, it's that simple. And that's the only one I really remember because GMS doesn't have that many instances like that, right? The whole weed thing. Technically, Apostle Hart corrected that because it was going out, you can't smoke weed. Well, technically, like the Apostle Hart said, if a doctor prescribes you to specifically smoke it, then that's what you have to, because for cataracts, that's what they do, all right? And basically, if you listen to what the Apostle said, you moron, right there I'll use your own thing, because a lot of people say, that means we can just smoke weed. It's not about being secular. It's about if you're using it for a health reason, all right? For example, personally, if you're going to use it, it'd be better off to ingest it and then smoke it, all right, like using edibles or whatnot if you're going to use it for a medical reason. Now, you shouldn't use it to just purposely get as high as possible. Same thing with drinking, all right? You're not going to drink to excess to be a fucking drunkard, all right? Same thing, you don't want to be a pothead, right? But just like, alcohol, you can, wind down. It can have some positive health effects, and excess can also have negative health effects, all right? You ever heard the saying, too much of a good thing can become a bad thing, right? And, but yeah, he was, but that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that, and that's why for a long time I didn't like to touch on it. And there are lessons out there. You can go and look it up. Apostahar, weed or marijuana or cannabis. You can look that up, and it's real. It's not AI. He really said it. There's two different videos. There's one where he's saying it basically in a correction to Elder Manata Zappa, and there's another one where he's saying it in a live camp. And it even took Apostle Gabar off guard until he explained himself. And then he understood, all right? Because again, it's not just go out there and smoke as much as you want and, being worldly, because even the Apostle Hart talked about that. A lot of Jake do it to be worldly, right? But it's just one of those situations where you're going to have situations like that where some people might think GMS was saying one thing when they didn't. Again, you have to listen. IUIC, what they'll say, it'll be right in the lesson, all right? And they'll say, if you listen, well, we did listen, all right? The apostles already went through your lesson. We already watched it. We all saw it. All right, and there's no other way it could be taken, all right? But that's what they do, the convolution of words and speech, right? So, really, I was going to, I guess I'll just go in and get on this. I can't remember what I opened up with, because I have 2 lessons that I was going to do today. One about having faith, and then one with the Mark of the Beast. But anyway, we're just going to switch over to the Mark of the Beast one, all right? Because I'm already on the tangent. I'm already on it. I was going to do the having faith one. That was going to be our second lesson anyway. So everything works out. Let's go over to Revelation. Okay, 13 and verse 16. Everybody knows this one. We've gotten it time and time again. Okay, this is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Okay, and this is how this is broken down. So, right there. So, he causeth all, everybody, both small and great. And we've done this 100 times. We're going to do it 100 more times. If you don't like it, then fucking leave the channel, as Apostle Gabar would say. If you don't like it, leave. Okay, and I've actually had that said to me, and it's hilarious that, when you have these apostates, these people that come against the truth, whether they call themselves in the truth or not, the Lord always has those people be rebuked, all right, in one shape or form. Usually someone will say some bugged out shit, and then for the next week, all the lessons, and that's through the Spirit, all the lessons will be on that topic. It's basically cutting them, right? And I had an individual tell me, "Oh, you make the same lessons over and over again." I don't make the same lessons over and over again, all right? I deal on the same topics over and over again, but there's the same topics in the Bible, all right? The Bible's, roughly deals with the same topics. So yeah, we're going to be talking about them over and over again. And as the Apostle said, he said, "Oh, I'm doing this lesson. Yes, I'm doing it again." And I think he mocked me and said, "Oh, look, Apostle, Gavar's doing the lesson again." He says, "You don't like it, get the fuck off the channel." Right? Yes, we're going to do it again. Right? And if you look at Elder Manatazapa, he's been doing the same lesson for, the last month, been dealing with these bugged out Christians, these bugged out apostates that are coming against the Hebrew Israelites, and guess what? They're always edifying. Okay? You get different scriptures. Sometimes you're going to have the same scriptures. That's the nature of it. Oh, here it goes again, talking about the Mark of the Beast, and he's grabbing Revelation 13 and 16. Oh, yeah, you have to. That's the Mark of the Beast. That's the Mark of the Beast scripture, dummy. But anyway, and it says, "And he caught," like I said, done it 100 times, do it 100 more times, as long as I'm alive and well in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. "And he causeth all, both small and great," all right, those that are known, those that are not known, rich and poor, those with money, those that don't have money, free and bond, those that are in prison, those that are out of prison, to receive a mark. Okay, and we're going to get what that word mark means, in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the number of the beast, or the number of his name. There you go. Okay, and again, we've done this before, and I've done it recently, but why am I doing it again? Because I was inspired through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai through the lesson that was made today, daily live stream on June. Ain't no microchip. All right, 25th, 2026, which is today. All right, and there's another lack of understanding, a pinnacle of lack of understanding from Bishop. We're in June, ain't no microchip. And you know what? The thing is, I'd like it to come quicker, but I really hope that the microchip comes out in June. That's one of my secret pleasures, right? Is that I hope it comes out in June. If it ain't out by this year, I hope it comes out next year in June, because the amount of fun we could have with that. All right, with we're in June and there's a microchip. I did a lesson one time called "We're in June" and there's talk of a microchip. Right? We're in June, ain't no microchip. Right? Well, a lot of your congregation is going to get it, Nathaniel, because you a lot of your individuals end up taking the jabba jabroni. All right, the jabaliciousness. All right, they all got down with that, and you said what? 20-something people in your ministry died. No one in GMS did. But all right, and this is why I want to do this, to give you a correct breakdown. And it's simple. It only takes but a quick second, man. We already got the breakdown of 16. The only thing we need now is this word mark. Okay, and how we get that? We get the one with the Strong's numbers on it, right here, and you're gonna see Mark G5480. Oh wait, we don't need the Hebrew and the Greek though. We don't need it, right? The English is enough. Charagma, all right, a scratch or etching, a stamp, a badge, a sculpture, a graven mark. Okay, same as G5482. That should be Karax. Yep. sharpened to a point in a stake, a palisade. That's the actual thing that is going to be used to cause that graving. All right, the karax is the thing that they insert, or they're going to insert into your skin to put that in there. The karagma is the mark itself. Okay, that's it. That's it. It's done. Right? That's really all we need. Anything else on a breakdown is just explaining things that we've already explained out. That's all. That's it. And Bishop Nate can't even do that. How long did that take? About a minute? Right? That's it. Everyone, right? Both small and great, small in stature, great in stature, known in the public, not known in the public, all right? Rich and poor, those with a lot of money, those with no money at all, free and bond, those that are out free, and those that are in prison. Everyone's going to get it, all right? Everyone's going to get, not everyone, but the vast majority of people. There are going to be people that don't get it. There's even going to be Edomites that don't get it. But if you don't get it, then what? Well, 17. And that no man might buy or sell. You got to buy food, right? You got to buy food, you got to buy groceries, you got to buy gas. You're not going to be able to have those things. And that plays into a man shall desire into a city and not be able to, right? Roughly paraphrasing. Right? That's, if a brother wants to put that down in the comment below, go ahead, right? So and that no man might be able to buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that mark. All right? Bear with me. Sake, I'm chewing on cloves, right? Because they're good for breath. Instead of a mint, I'm chewing on some cloves, and they're starting to dig into my lip. I had to move them on to the other side, and they taste good. But yeah, man, going back into 16, it caused 17, and that no man might buy or sell. So it's going to be something that's engraved into you, okay? And you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have it. It's not a spiritual mark. It's not dealing with the mark of exemption. That's a spiritual mark. This is a physical mark, a microchip, right? And it's that simple. It's that simple to break down, man. That's all it takes. But Bishop Nathaniel won't do it. Why? Because if he breaks it down in the correct way, it's gonna, like GMS does, all right, and the individuals that teach in the same way, such as myself. It's obvious. All right, it's obvious that it's going to be used for a form of payment. It's obvious that it's going to be something that's put into you, and the only thing it could be is that RFID chip. Okay, it's not sin. It's not sleeping with a white woman. All right, my wife said that when she was in the what was it? The Seventh-day Adventists. All right, she said the pastor there said that it was Sunday worship. So. These are all dumb versions, okay? These are all dumb versions. Say it's not sin. So how many TVs can I get when I sin? All right, like the apostle made a joke that one time. Apostle Tahar specifically, I think, made the joke. I don't remember how it exactly goes, but roughly paraphrasing it, so I walk into a store and I want a TV or something like that. I say, I sin 3 times a day. What can I get for that? I had a foolish thought 3 times a day. That's 3 sins. What can I get for that? Another thing is, are different sin. Like, if I do a homosexual act, do I get more sin currency than if I just had a foolish thought? What if I looked at a woman, a married woman in lust? What's the equivalent payout for that compared to doing a homosexual act? Or what about killing someone? Do they all have different payouts? All right. Or for example, what if it's not sin? What if it's Sunday worship? How many Sundays do I have to worship? To be able to afford a house, right? Or how many white women do I got? You tell me I can sleep with white women and get paid? That sounds fucking fantastic. All right, so I'm getting sloppy toppy and I'm getting electronics out of it. That's stupid. That's stupid. All right, the currency is getting bucks, right? Fucking all right. It just has white women specifically. It's dumb, man. It's dumb and it don't make sense. But these people don't make sense. You want to know why? Because they don't speak in plainness of speech. They don't do it. All right, they speak in convolution of speech. Let's get 2 Corinthians 3 and then 12, and then I'm going to cut it there, and then I'm going to go and do a second half of it, right? And I got to run up in some stores. 2 Corinthians 14, not 14, 1 Corinthians, no, I have 2 Corinthians 3 and 12, and then I have 1 Corinthians 14 and 8. Give me a minute. So this is 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. Getting them confused. My bad. It's right here. 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. We'll start with 11. It says, "For if that which is done away was glorious, much more that which remaineth is glorious. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech." There you go. So plainness of speech. What does it mean to be plainness of speech? What is plainness of speech? Let's go ask Google. Same chat. What is plainness of speech? Plainness of speech is the practice of speaking and writing clearly, directly, and simply. It avoids complex vocabulary, unnecessary jargon, and twisted sentence structures so the listener understands the message immediately, if they have the Holy Spirit, of course, right? Historically and culturally, it serves the exact opposite of convoluted speech. Directness, stating the main point first without talking around the subject, using common everyday words instead of rare or academic vocabulary. And sometimes we get into a little academic, but not, we always explain what those words mean. Brevity, keeping it brief, right? Keeping sentences short and eliminating filler words. And again, we're always great with filler words. Sometimes we lose the way we're trying to speak. We're trying to, we have a lack of a word that we're looking for, so it can get a little bit full. I have that happen to me sometimes. But in general, we don't do it. We don't purposely just convolute shit, right? Transparency. When IOIC does that because it maintains their theatric persona, right? They have that theatric persona upon them. They want to seem like, it's theater shit, right? It's everything, the fancy garments, the fancy way they talk, the thrones, the sound effect. It's all theatrics, right? And then transparency, presenting facts honestly without trying to hide meaning or behind confusing terms. And that's what IUIC does, again, so they can have that plausible deniability, that escape route. That's what they do, man. So I'm going to cut it right there, and I'll be back with you in just a minute, Lord willing. All right, we're back. So yeah, man, let's get back into it. So where do we want to go here? So let's read 2 Corinthians 3 and 12 one more time, and then we're going to jump over to 1 Corinthians 14, 8 through 9. And slack you if it's a little loud. I got the window down. I think I got the AC running too. It's a little spicy out here in Vegas lately, so, But 2 Corinthians 3 and 12, it says, "Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech." And what I want to do is I want to go and get this in a couple different things. Let's get it in the Bible in basic English. It says, "Having then such a hope, we keep nothing back." Easy to read version. "We are so sure of this hope that we can speak very openly." At least we should. A lot of people, again, don't. Let's get English Standard Version. It says, "Since we have such a hope, we are very bold." Good News Bible, it says, "Because we have this hope, we are very bold." Again, King James gets it the best, right? "Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech." And we already had the AI breakdown, the Google AI breakdown what plainness of speech means. It's the complete opposite of convolution of speech, okay? So now we're going to jump back, actually. We're going to jump back into 1 Corinthians 14 and 8, right? Through 9. Let's see, do I want to read up? Let's read from 7. It says 1 Corinthians 14 and 7. And I like this scripture that we're going to get into because it really puts everything plainly out there, right? Lets you really know how harmful this can be. It says, verse 7, "And even things without life-giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harped? For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?" Verse 9, "So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? For ye shall speak into the air." Right? And this one's very, how do I want to say it? This one's very visualizing, all right, and auditory the way you do. For example, you know they have that military sound of the trumpet, right? Now, I don't know what that necessarily means, but every time I hear that, I wasn't in the military, but every time you see that in movies, the soldiers usually gathering together and lining up, right? Because they know that means, like, gather and line up, at least in the movies, right? And, but say they had that trumpet guy, and he went, you'd be like, what the fuck? Did you just hear the trumpet? I think I heard the trumpet. Did you hear that sound? It didn't. Yeah, but that didn't sound like the, that sounded like something else. Maybe they're testing something. Maybe they're cleaning it or something, right? I don't know, because that doesn't sound, every time, every single day, they have that same sound. And this wasn't that, so I don't think they're calling us, right? That's what's going to happen, all right? For example, an uncertain sound. Back when I was in high school, to let us know when the period was up, there used to be a tone. It used to go, doo, and it used to have an echo after it, kind of. And then that's how everybody would know that the period was up, right? Well, imagine if you just had some other sound play. If it was bing dong, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Is that, you might, put two and two together. You might be like, is that, are we dismissed? Is that the sound? But it's going to be uncertain, right? You're going to have people that talk, I don't think that was the sound. You have other people, I think it was the sound. I think the period is up. Other people are like, no, because that's not the sound. That, that's uncertain. You're going to have people arguing about it. They don't really know what it means. It's the same thing with this truth, okay? If again, verse 8, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Now, if the sound of the battle is do-do-do-do, and someone goes, that's not the battle sound. So who is going to prepare themselves for the battle? No one. Because that wasn't the battle sound. Right? That was just some other sound. Okay? It's the same thing with language. It's the same thing with language. It's the same thing with speaking. Right? Verse 9. So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood. All right? And if you're over here saying, the accoutrements that I proclaimed, or the accoutrements that I happened to squander, was a peculiar situation because I felt quite ashamed by all these different long words. I was quite ashamed by leaving that item where it previously stood. All right, it was quite a lack of grace and great astonishment and shame to me. What? No, just say, look, man, I left some things at the store that I really should have got, but I went back and they weren't there, and now I'm upset because I should have got them. Right? But, again, Esau does that. They do that to make themselves seem more intelligent, and it makes them actually look more dumb. Okay? It makes them look more dumb. And, yeah, man, just one of those things. So, it says, so likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood. Verse 9. How shall it be known what is spoken? How are you going to know what's actually being spoken if you're speaking in the grand illustrious delicacies that happen to befall upon the mind in the space and time continuing? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, man. I have no idea. And it's not a matter. And again, there's people that, again, you can have the Holy Spirit. There are people that aren't going to understand this truth because they don't have the Holy Spirit. But there's also going to be some people that aren't understand what these individuals are saying because they're speaking with words that are just overly convoluted. You don't need to do that, okay? Oh, hell, even the word convoluted, overly complicated, right? You can simplify that, okay? And you don't have to dumb yourself down to the lowest level, all right? Most people know what convoluted means. But with certain bigger words, I always like to try to explain them. Or like if we say a certain word or a definition, I like to go and get that definition, right? To show you, break it down, show you exactly what it means, right? Definitions, by getting them, help you get a better understanding, okay? That's the GMS, it's a GMS proverb. What do they say? I can't, we basically, you'll hear the brothers say it sometimes, like, oh, we get the definitions around here, all right? Or we use the dictionary, right? And you don't see a lot of people doing that, but GMS and the people that teach like GMS, right? You got to give the people, the information. If you're talking about the word, I don't know, hell, let me just try to pull something out. Astonishment. Well, how is someone going to know what an astonishment is if they don't know what the word astonish means, right? And astonished, roughly, is just, something that causes surprise, right? You were astonished, right? Amazed, surprised by something. Let me roll up this window. Bear with me. And really, it's the same thing with, and this whole ministry is plain, right? Right. Quote Alazar. Right. This whole ministry is to be plain, right? GMS wears the plain garments, okay? And they get called bums from that, right? Because really you should have something that looks like you're a Power Ranger, like you're what's his name? I've said it before. What was that guy's name? Zed. Lord Zed. Look up Lord Zed, all right? Lord Z-E-D, Lord Zed. Look that up and tell me that don't look like some of the outfits that fucking IUIC has, okay? And I'm not making fun of or mocking the garments, because that ain't the garment. That ain't a garment. That is that's a theatric get up, right? That's what they have, and the thrones, the sound effects, all the overly, and I do AI covers sometimes, rarely. I try to design them myself, but most of the time I'll design the cover myself. I don't use AI. I have used AI before if there's something that I can't necessarily illustrate myself or put together by like photo bashing. Sometimes I'll do it, but usually I try to put it together myself. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't, because I usually do it for like I threw something together for my multi-series that I'm doing, or mini-series that I'm doing right now with the 13 families. But I don't do it for every lesson. If I'm just doing it, like this one's not going to have a special cover, right? And the lesson after it's not going to have a special cover. But sometimes I do a special cover. But every IUIC lesson has to have like a professional YouTube grade cover, right? A lot of the time you see the brothers, the apostles, and Elders Great Millstone, same thing. It's on my page. You'll just see like a Bible page, right? That's where it'll end up taking the screenshot. It'll just be like the thumbnail will just be the brothers clearly on Blue Letter, right? Or KJV Online, or Bible Gateway, or some other document, right? It's not some grand theatric movie looking cover, right? And that's part of being plain. Same thing. We don't add sound effects to our lesson. And this is coming from someone who has a big. Good Lord, come on, man. Slakia, Satan had the tongue. Gets like that sometimes. I can't even spit it out. Spit it out, man. And this is coming from someone that has a higher level of production than most of the brothers do. And I'm not saying that to brag or to boast. I just thoroughly enjoy it, right? Most brothers use simple things like StreamYard. I use OBS because I'm familiar with OBS for recording stuff. I have the little side banner, the banner underneath. It says, call all Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Sometimes I'll put effects or something on it. But, and sometimes I make covers and stuff. And I'm saying you don't need to do all that stuff. A lot of the time I just do it for fun, and I don't do it every lesson. And it's not too hard what I do. Because, again, I have it set up to where I just start my lesson up. I don't have to set that up and configure it every single time. It's just in saved settings in OBS that it has the little Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai banner, right? And, it took me, 5-10 minutes to put that together and configure it the way I wanted it to do. And, that's that. Sometimes I make, a background banner. I meant like on my, when I have the webcam, I have like bombs blowing up in the back, nukes and stuff going in the back. But I just found a couple photos, linked them together and ran it as the background. And it's easy for me because, I fuck around with technology a lot. But it's not needed. It's not needed. It's not something that you need. It's not going to make you... There's brothers that don't do that and they get more views than me. It's not really about views, but it's with IUIC, it's about production. It's about having the sound effects and the best mics. And you should have a good enough mic, right? And if you have money to spare, because back a while ago when I had money to spare, I got rid of a decent enough microphone. You could hear me, but I wanted a higher level one because I wanted one that was podcast level, and that's the one I use now. It's a Samson Q2U. If you're wondering the exact, it's about $100, 75 to $100. I was using a Blue Snowball before that was about $50. And if I could get a better quality microphone, would I do it again? Probably. Yeah, I just like having really clear audio, and it's fun for me. Right? It's something I can do for the truth. It's fun for me. I like messing with audio. It's the same thing. I play the keyboard. I do fun with mix music and stuff like that. And the same reason I mess with cassettes and VHS. It's just something to do. It's a pastime, right? But you don't need that. That's not something you need, but IUIC operates off that you must have it in every single video. Half the time, look, like I said, this video ain't going to have no special thumbnail. It doesn't have any it's just, I'm just recording this off my phone, a screen capture off my phone. You don't need all that extra stuff, man. If you want to do it, that's fine, but you shouldn't hold yourself to like, oh, this is all that's going to be, because really they do that because they have a reputation that they want to maintain. They want to look, really they want to make themselves look above everyone. Oh, GMS is the bum camp. Why? Because they don't have the production value. You don't need a production value, right? You don't need that, all right? And half the time, you spend all this. Meanwhile, you don't have the Holy Spirit, You can't even break down Revelation 13:16, but the video fucking looks nice. It's shot in 4K 60, right? Got the bomb, boom. Bring it out, boom. Bring it out, boom. Bring it out. Like, what the fuck is that, man? But the breakdown was horrible, right? But you have it flashing on the screen, all these different fucking things, flashing on the screen like it reminds me of old fucking cable TV, right? If you want to call now and reserve your CD of Rock of Ages. Slovakia, there was supposed to be about 15 more minutes worth of footage right in this area of the lesson, but the way it stopped recording, the phone messed up, and I was able to salvage the rest of the lesson, but right here it kind of cut out. So when it jumps back in, I'm going to be talking about something, basically like the spirit that IUIC has on them. So Slovakia for that, but the rest of the video should still be good. I'm saying there's a very specific vibe and spirit that comes out of them and their disciples, right? Look a couple weeks back, or a week back ago, that secret disciple, I made that lesson, a secret disciple or a secret minion of the IUIC, and he said, I wasn't in IUIC, but he was parroting everything they said, okay? He was a fucking asshole. That guy was a fucking asshole, right? And a lot of the guys over at IUIC, they're fucking assholes, all right? Bishop Nathaniel himself is kind of a fucking asshole, right? With how he acts and treats and calls all the apostles' names. That's an asshole thing to do, right? That's an asshole. With apostles, Great Millstone, they do it. They're only going at him, all right, with not even the same energy. They bring out what he does wrong, and then he goes out and says, oh, they're a bunch of fucking bums. No, he doesn't say fucking, but, oh, what a bunch of bums, and you moron, calls them morons and bums, and results to all sorts of ad hominem attacks. Like, that's something an asshole does, right? Because you can't prove your doctrine, so you resort to being an asshole, right? And yeah, that's an asshole thing to do, right? And again, like I said, we would all much prefer that Bishop Nathaniel just comes out of that and would be, because he has the potential to be a decent teacher if he just stopped the bullshit, all right? I mean, he's well-worded, he has a good stage presence, but it's the extra shit. And I don't hate Bishop Nathaniel. I think he would make an excellent teacher if he actually taught right, but he don't teach right, and that's the fucking problem. That's the problem, and that's really the lesson. I mean, is that, the little note is on IUIC's Revelation 13:16 breakdown. It's fucking horrible. Fucking horrible, man. Just, anyway, it was just, half the breakdowns that come out of that camp are fucking just awful, man. Awful. I mean, GMS has shown time and time again, because GMS not only are they the prophecy camp, they're the fact-checking camp. Because what they'll do is, IUIC will say some crazy shit in a breakdown, and it has nothing to do with it, and GMS will go and show you the actual scriptures and go and break it down. You a GMS dick rider. I'm not a dick rider, but the difference is I like to be around people that actually have an understanding, all right, that you can go and get the scriptures. First of all, go and watch IUIC. Anybody that disagrees, go and watch. Have you seen, because I've watched 1 to 2 hours worth of GMS lessons. You can't even sit through hardly an IUIC because it's a fuckery. It's fuckery, right? You go and you look in there, there's yelling, there's shouting, there's theatric. Like I said, the voice, that's right, bring it out, brother. No one talks like that, right? It reminds me of the old radio show. And that's right, coming up live next on CBS is going to be a wonderful show that you and the family will for sure not want to miss. All right, it's America's Funny Home Videos, right? Coming at 7 p.m. That's what it reminds me of, all right? Thoroughly, that's what it reminds me of. And I can't listen to that shit. It's fatiguing on the ear. It's bothering me just fucking repeating the shit, right? But that's what they do. Because that's the type of shit that ropes people in. That's the type of shit that brings people in. They say, oh, these guys must know it. They're news reporters, right? I'm Bradley Johnson, and I'm standing on the side of 3rd and Main Street to bring you breaking news. You're a news reporter, right? You're not talking naturally. You're not speaking on how a normal human being would speak. You're speaking like a narrator, okay? And that's extra shit. That's extra shit. Just make it sure it's easy to understand, and you're good to go. You're good as gold. But no, they don't want that. Right? And really, that's because, let's get Proverbs. I wish they had it full instead of the abbreviations here. Here it is. Proverbs 15 and 2. I hate when interfaces are like this. I just don't like it. I wish I could type it in. But Proverbs 15 and 2, it says, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Okay, let's get that in Bible basic English. Knowledge is dropping from the tongue of the wise, but from the mouth of the foolish come a stream of foolish words. And that's what, really, when you have all this word vomit and word salad, that's foolish words. All right, that's foolish. Okay, watch. For example, if we go here, I'm going to go to, I'll just type in A. Not archive, but let me just type in A. God damn it. A. Right, it'll bring it up. Now I'll go to AI mode. Okay. I'm going to drop a sentence, and I want you to convolute it. Wonderfully complex, overly written. So look, go down to the store. Go down to the grocery. Go down to the Walmart. All right, go down to the Walmart on 5th Street. Grab some milk and eggs and come back. All right? So that's simple. Go down to the Walmart on 5th Street, grab some milk and eggs, and come back. Right? This is the type of shit. Please initiate a deployment to the retail facility situated on the 5th Street corridor to execute the procurement of liquid dairy assets and poultry-derived ovum units, followed by an immediate retrograde maneuver back to this primary location. The fuck are you talking about, man? Here's an academic jargon version. It is requested that you execute a localized migration towards the commercial enterprise located upon the 5th latitudinal thoroughfare, whereupon you will secure specific nutritional provisions, namely bovine, lacteal, secretions, and avian reproduction bodies, prior to reversing your trajectory toward our concurrent coordinates. And there's motherfuckers out here that really talk like this. Overly dramatic Victorian version. Journey forth, I pray thee, unto the grand emporium that resides upon the 5th thoroughfare. Therein secure the pure white nectar of the kine and fragile oval treasures of the coop, and tarry not on thy return to this humble abode. Look, man, and mind you, the original sentence. Go down to Walmart on 5th Street, grab some milk and eggs, and come back. That was it. That was it. Go down to Walmart on 5th Street, grab some milk, get the eggs, come back. Look at this shit. Look at 3 different versions, right? And that's what they do. That's what they do. And notice how down here it said, translated legal contract language. And the contracts are specifically obscure, right? Hidden, right? With hidden words and hidden speech and, different things that get you roped in. Well, no, it didn't say that. It said procurement of the said device. You're saying, getting of that item. No, it's the procurement of said device. If you look on clause 3, what the fuck are you doing, man? But that's what they do. And that's what the IUIC does. All right? Not in this exact... No, this is a absurdist take, right? What is absurdist? What does it mean? What is it to explain something in an absurdist way. Right? Existent, maybe not the right word, but absurd. It's purposely absurd, right? It's purposely out there, right? Obviously, they're not going to the level of Victorian, but no, they go out there and they try to, put the bass in their voice and do all these different things, and it's just completely ridiculous, right? That's what they do. And ultimately, like we started up with, it's convolution. All right, but that's all we're going to do with the lesson. I've already gone on far too far. No need to convolute it anymore. So, got some scriptures, or rant with some scriptures involved is really what it was. Because, like I said, I was watching the daily live stream that Apostle Gabar put out for today, June 25th and 2026, about an hour in, and it inspired me. I was actually in the middle. I had it running. I was actually doing some prayers, and I had to, stop and apologize to the Lord because I stopped. I said, "Excuse me, Lord, I have to write this down," because the apostle was talking, and I wrote down Mark the Beast breakdown, 2 Corinthians 3:12, plainness of speech, and then I went, I went back to it, right? Because I had to. I said, that's a lesson right there. That's a lesson to get, because it's ridiculous, man. And the theatrics, the overly, the grandeur, right? You can look that word, the maintaining a royal appearance and the clothes and all. I mean, I can't forgive everything, and I'm not forgiving everything, but all that wouldn't be as bad. It'd still be bad. And the selling of merchandise, and that was another thing he was talking about in the lesson. The Apostle Gabar was, going on the website, and I've done that before, showing, IUIC face care, IUIC tumblers, IUIC music, IUIC posters. That was one of the things. The camp posters, the camp signs. They're selling camp signs, all right? And the apostle said, we never sold camp signs. We put it up on the site for free, right? And it's true. You can go to a GMS website, and it's all that's on there is camp signs, right? But yeah, man. But all that, ignoring that, because you can't forgive that. But the way they speak, right? And they bring it out. All that you could look past. Maybe they'd still be getting on. They'd be like, "Hey, man, you need to calm it down." All that could be maybe forgivable and looked past if they just had a decent breakdown when they break things down, and they don't. They don't. All right. So that's it. That's the lesson. We're gonna close out there. Lord, what was edifying? So like a little rambly, but shit gets me hot because it's just ridiculous, man. And yet they try to say that GMS doesn't have it. Well, damn sure ain't you. It's obviously GMS that has it. All right, look what's happened to the Sakari. Look what happened to the there ain't nothing going out. There's never been anything going out of the GOCC. All right, IUSUPK, all they're doing is debates. Right, Sakari falling apart. TCG Ministries, they fell apart basically. Right, Gorilla Hebrew, his channel fucking fell apart. Who's bringing it out then? A wise one, right? Is it IUIC? I know the fuck it ain't. All right, you don't even, first it is you don't need the name. Then a couple months ago you were saying the name Yahweh, right? And then you had that video with those two ladies I did a lesson on, and I think, was it Yahweh or Yeshua? And she had a shirt on. I'm like, this is completely ridiculous. It's madness, man. It's madness. It's Christian madness if you really want to get down to it. And why is it Christian? Because you're using the name God and Jesus Christ. Same shit. All right, just different, slightly different, a little bit of a Hebrew Israelite flavor, but it's just Christianity. You still calling God and Jesus Christ when you make your videos. All right, it's not Israel united in Yahushua. It's Israel united in Christ. All right, that tells you everything you need to know about that camp. But anyway, we're gonna close out there. Lord, what was edifying? Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak. Shalom, you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Till next one, Lord willing. Shalom.